17 players, including Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and Sergio Garcia, are suspended or otherwise ineligible for PGA Tour tournament play. That's according to a statement from the PGA Tour. Some of the players have resigned their membership.
One signature changed everything. Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and Brooks Koepka thought they were buying freedom, but what they really signed was the start of golf's biggest war. In 2022, LIV Golf promised wealth and independence. Instead, it triggered chaos, suspensions, lawsuits, and a split that tore the sport apart. This is the story of how rebellion became regret.
The following players are all banned from playing on the PGA Tour, suspended and no longer eligible to play on the PGA Tour, and then it lists.
The decision came swiftly. On the 9th of June 2022, the PGA Tour announced it had suspended 17 players who competed in the inaugural LIV Golf event at the Centurion Club outside London. Commissioner Jay Monahan sent a memo to all members stating that those who participated in LIV events without conflicting event releases were ineligible for PGA Tour competition. The suspended players included Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia, Kevin Na, and Charles Schwartzel. Monahan made clear that future participation in LIV events would result in the same fate. LIV Golf had launched with staggering financial backing from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, reportedly valued at over $700 billion. The league offered guaranteed contracts that dwarfed traditional PGA Tour earnings. Dustin Johnson reportedly signed a deal worth $125 million. Phil Mickelson's contract was estimated near $200 million. Bryson DeChambeau received approximately $125 million. Brooks Koepka secured over $100 million. The money was undeniable, but so were the consequences. The immediate fallout was severe. Phil Mickelson, a six-time major champion and one of golf's most marketable figures, lost his longtime sponsor KPMG within days of his decision to join LIV. The accounting firm issued a statement on the 24th of May 2022, announcing it was ending its sponsorship relationship with Mickelson. Callaway, his equipment sponsor since 2004, paused their partnership. Mickelson also withdrew from the PGA Championship, an event he had won just 1 year earlier at age 50. His reputation suffered further damage after controversial comments surfaced in February 2022, where he acknowledged Saudi Arabia's human rights record, but defended his involvement with LIV by calling it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to reshape how the PGA Tour operates. Dustin Johnson resigned his PGA Tour membership shortly after joining LIV, forfeiting his eligibility for the Ryder Cup. Johnson had been the world's #1 ranked player as recently as 2021. His departure meant he could no longer compete in PGA Tour events, including the Tour Championship and the FedEx Cup playoffs. Johnson finished second in the 2022 LIV Golf individual standings, but his world ranking plummeted. By mid-2023, he had fallen outside the top 40 after spending years in the top 10. Patrick Reed became one of LIV Golf's most polarizing figures. Reed, who won the 2018 Masters, joined LIV in June 2022 and immediately filed a defamation lawsuit against Golf Channel and commentator Brandel Chambly for $750 million, alleging they damaged his reputation with comments about his decision. The lawsuit was later dismissed. Reed's image suffered as fans viewed him as prioritizing money over tradition. His world ranking dropped from 36th in June 2022 to outside the top 50 by the end of that year. Bryson DeChambeau signed with LIV Golf in June 2022 after months of public speculation. DeChambeau, the 2020 U.S. Open champion, had been one of golf's most compelling personalities. His decision to join LIV meant he could no longer compete in PGA Tour designated events, which offered the largest purses and strongest fields outside of majors. DeChambeau's world ranking fell from 28th at the time of his signing to 179th by early 2023, limiting his access to major championships. Brooks Koepka joined LIV Golf in June 2022, despite previously stating he would remain loyal to the PGA Tour. Koepka, a 5-time major champion, became one of the tour's biggest acquisitions. His defection stunned the golf world. Koepka had been ranked inside the top 20, but his world ranking dropped to 44th by December 2022. His absence from PGA Tour events meant fewer opportunities to compete against the world's best players on a weekly basis. Lesser-known stars suffered even more. Tyler Gooch, Abraham Ancer, and Carlos Ortiz had been rising talents on the PGA Tour before joining LIV. Gooch had won his first PGA Tour event in 2022 and was ranked 35th in the world. After joining LIV, his ranking dropped to 53rd by year's end. Answer, who had climbed to 20th in the world rankings in 2021, fell to 41st within months of joining LIV. These players earned significant guaranteed money, but disappeared from mainstream golf coverage and major tournament leaderboards. On the other side, PGA Tour loyalists faced their own battles. Rory McIlroy became the tour's most vocal defender. McIlroy, a four-time major champion, repeatedly criticized LIV players for choosing money over legacy. He told the media in June 2022 that he disagreed fundamentally with LIV Golf and believed the PGA Tour represented the pinnacle of professional golf. McIlroy spent months defending the tour in interviews and press conferences, often appearing exhausted by the constant questions about the split. Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas also remained loyal. Thomas called the situation sad and expressed disappointment that friendships had been damaged. Spieth stated he understood the financial appeal but believed the PGA Tour offered the best competitive environment. Both players became unofficial spokesmen for the tour's position, dedicating energy to defending an institution they believed was under attack. Then came the betrayal. On the 6th of June 2023, the PGA Tour announced a framework agreement to merge with LIV Golf's financial backers, the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia. The news blindsided players on both sides. McIlroy, who had spent a year defending the tour, learned about the merger from social media. He later admitted feeling betrayed. Monahan, who had condemned LIV Golf as a threat to the sport, was now partnering with the same entity he had vilified. The merger announcement revealed that the entire conflict may have been avoidable. Players who had remained loyal felt their sacrifices had been meaningless. Those who joined LIV had been suspended, lost sponsors, and damaged their reputations, only to see the two tours reconcile. The year-long civil war in professional golf had accomplished nothing except division, bitterness, and financial loss for many involved. The broader consequences extended beyond individual careers. Fan loyalty fractured. Some supported LIV players for taking guaranteed money in a sport with no pension system. Others viewed them as sellouts who prioritized profit over tradition. Sponsorship dynamics shifted as brands reassessed their golf investments. Television ratings for both tours declined as audiences struggled to follow fragmented schedules and confusing formats. The official World Golf Ranking (OWGR) controversy became one of the most divisive issues following the rise of LIV Golf. The new Saudi-backed league's tournaments didn't receive OWGR points, leaving its players stranded in the global standings. As weeks passed, their ranks plummeted, and so did their automatic eligibility for golf's 4 major championships. No amount of guaranteed money could replace the prestige and competitive access that world ranking points provided. The credibility of golf's institutions began to crack. The PGA Tour suspended LIV defectors, framing it as a defense of tradition. Yet, just months later, the same organization entered merger negotiations with the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia, the very backers it had condemned. The DP World Tour 2 followed a confusing path, first banning players, then allowing selective participation under fines. To players and fans alike, it appeared that leadership decisions were driven by power and profit rather than principle. Brooks Koepka's 2023 PGA Championship win at Oak Hill became a rare moment of clarity in a divided sport. Against the backdrop of lawsuits, suspensions, and fractured loyalties, his performance reminded the world of what true competition looked like. Koepka, who had joined LIV Golf in 2022, delivered 4 rounds of power and precision, finishing 9 under par to claim his 3rd PGA Championship and 5th career major. It was a defining statement, a reminder that elite talent could transcend politics and chaos. Yet even this triumph could not restore lost world ranking points or re-establish LIV players' access to the PGA Tour. Phil Mickelson's journey stood in painful contrast. Once one of golf's most adored figures, he returned to major championships in 2023, only to fade from contention. The man who once symbolized charisma and risk-taking was now viewed as the face of greed and division. His reputation, though supported by 6 major titles, was irreparably stained by his decision to join LIV. By 2024, golf's unity had vanished. What began as a quest for change turned into a moral reckoning. Players who once shared locker rooms now played on opposite tours, their careers separated by politics and pride. Sponsors distanced themselves. Fans took sides. The game that once embodied tradition and honor became a mirror of modern sport where one decision, no matter how profitable, could cost everything that truly mattered.